Good evening. Hi. Day one. Just lighting a little bit of sage. As you join, say hi. And I hope you're good. Let us know in the chat. I've got my laptop open also in front of me. So I'm doing this on my phone. So hopefully I should be able to see a little bit of both. Oh. Okay, I can see people joining. Hi, please, just, even if you just say hello, helps to, I've got that right in the back of my throat, helps to boost it so everyone else that's joining will also see it. So that would be amazing to say hi as you join. This has been like at the forefront of my mind for the last couple of weeks. And the way that I work with these things, I'll share, is I get the concept that comes in. This is me being unapologetically truthful. Because some people work really well with like 6 months in advance. They get everything all sorted. They know exactly what they're going to say. The way that I work so intuitively. I really exercise my ability to what I used to think was just like, it would feel like a download, and I understand is more channeling. And I make bullet points. So I've got loads and loads of bullet points in front of me. I can always maybe share these after if anyone's a bit more of a visual. Just let me know. I don't know if it's going to make sense to anybody else. But if you see me looking down, then I've got this here as well. But this comes through to me literally on the run up to it, the last few days. Pen to paper, typing out different parts of it. And the last few weeks, this has been coming together so strong for me. Right, in the Facebook group, but I can't see it. Let's have a look. If I refresh that, is there a way for me to at everybody? I don't think so. Let's see. Okay, well, we're going to get started anyway, because it is always going to be available on replay. And I can see that we've got a few people joining. If, for any reason, this doesn't work as a live like I intend it to, we'll do it on Zoom tomorrow night. So don't worry. This is not always like going to be. We can make it malleable, can't we? So, hi. Okay, where are we? I'm in the wrong group here. What I'm going to suggest that you do is grab a pen, paper. If you haven't already, grab a drink of water. Okay, let's see. Am I missing the link? No. It's here at Sarah. Okay, let's see if I can at everyone. Yes, I can. Okay, let's see if this works. I think tomorrow night I will literally just do a Zoom. I thought it would be quite nice to do it in here, and I don't really know why. There was no rhyme or reason behind it. It's just the brain wanted what the brain wanted. So let's get started. You're in. Hi, Sarah. Hi. And who else commented? I think it was also Charlie. Right, just bear with me. There we go. Okay. So I hope you are all good. Drop a big hello as you join. Pin to featured. There we go. I'd like to think now, if anyone joins the group, they should see that straight away. Okay. Let me just bring this up. Yeah, this was like probably my worst idea, just doing it as a live. People aren't used to lives anymore, I don't think. 1 second. Right, someone's asking for the group. There we go. Send invite. Right. Okay, let's get started. So, little bit of a lowdown of what we're kind of going to be like covering over the next 3 days. Thank you for your patience if you've just been with me for the last 5 minutes whilst we're doing that. So tonight is all around like the awareness. Awareness is always, always step number one, because I know so many of you have, like, you're here to make freaking moves in your life. And I don't just mean fame, fortune, like this, like that kind of moves. I mean bold moves in your life in a unique way. For some people, this might be within the workplace. For some people, this might be in relationships. You are meant to have these deep connections, feel open from your heart, feel available. I want you to just for a moment have a little reflect on that word, available. How available are you? How open are you? And I'm thinking, how open-minded are you? That's one thing. And I find a lot of light workers very, very open-minded, which, well, let's be honest, there's like 100 and nearly 110 people in this, and there's like 60 odd people in the group. So many of you are open-minded. How open-hearted are we? How unapologetically big can you love? How available are you to accepting love? And what does that feel like to you? What does that mean to you? How open are you? And your intuition. How available is your intuition? Now, your intuition, from my point of view, is it's always there, it's always open. But how available is it for you to listen? How often do you truly, truly stop and tune into it? So we're going to really be looking into awareness. We're going to be having like a little bit of an excavation as well. There's going to be a lot of reflective questions, hence why I said pen and paper. We're also going to be having a look at some, what I'd call like hidden cycles, hidden patterns that so often we just put down to, it's just how I am. That is just who I am, or that's how I've always been, or we just aren't those kind of people. That is something I hear far too often, not from my clients, but my clients saying, literally someone said this the other day, my dad always said, and does still say, we're just not that kind of family. We're just not that kind of family. And that would literally like pull all the thoughts around expansion, like, vroom, we're just not that kind of family. So they were having real deep conflict on like, well, what is actually available to me? Because their conditioning was play small. All the stuff that other people do, the flashy car, the big house, the money, that's just not us. You hear that enough, it has an impact. So by the end of this, we're going to be having a look at truly what's actually holding you back. We're going to be having a look at the subconscious, those hidden cycles. One thing that I'm really excited to talk to you about is around the witch wound. I talk a lot about the inner child within the heart. And I see these two things going simultaneously so beautifully when we begin to work on them. And that also being the witch wound. So that is another one. And nervous system, your lived experiences, the impact that those can have on your everyday life now, and what is available to you when you actually begin to break the freaking cycle. When you begin to be what I often refer to as a chain breaker, where all those conditionings, when all of those imprints that came before you have been passed on, and all of a sudden it's like all of it has landed on your shoulders. And really there's a part of you, conditioning wise, is just meant to rinse and repeat this stuff, right? What parents did, what grandparents did, what great-great-grandparents did, what great-great-great-great-grandparents did. And all of a sudden there's just this feeling where it's like, I can't rinse and repeat this. Something about this has to finish with me. And I have so much to say that I struggle to find the words when it comes to, if you recognize, and I want you to put the words below, chain breaker. If you are someone within your family, some people used to refer to them as the black sheep. Some people would refer to them as the ones that are just different, the ones that break the mold, that go against the grain, that do those kinds of things. That's like the old sayings that we'd hear. I would say when there are things that are just ready to finish with you. And majority of the time, if this is you almost have to go through an initiation in life. And right now, this might be a catalyst in your initiation. When I was journaling just before coming live, I like to journal. I actually sent me a bit woozy, probably still a little bit woozy now, which is funny. Kind of seeing this as like, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of support going on with this. Maybe not tech-wise, but universally spirit-wise there is. And when I wrote down like, why am I doing this? Because I don't have to, like, why? Like, what's the why behind this? Like, what's my mission with this? And what was it? It's time to wake up the masses and be the warrior of light. Like, how big and, oh my God, does that sound? We are waking up. We are waking up, and so many people are like feeling this initiation. So if you sense somehow that you are a chain breaker, I would say likelihood is you're also a light worker. So often we have that part of us that wants to do good. It feels good to do the job or be the kind of person that helps and supports others. You've probably heard me talk about light worker before. I personally see that we are coming into an era. I talk about this a lot. We've been in the industrial age. That was our generations above. We are in the information age. We are coming into the intuitive age. The intuitive age is going to be calling upon light leaders, light workers like yourself, people like yourself where you are doing the freaking work. Like I was saying about that initiation, there's a reason that you are here. This is about you becoming unapologetic. And when you become unapologetically you, the ripple effect that has in all areas of your life. And what I personally find is there's one thing doing this on your own. There's one thing reading the books, listening to the podcasts. But what happens is, like, say that this is you here and you are beginning to push against the societal norms. You're beginning to question and lean against the things that make you say to yourself, like the conditioning basically, like you're not good enough or who am I to do this, etc. But what can happen if you just do this on your own is the influence of the energy from the people around you. If you aren't surrounded by like the like-minded people every so often, if you've got your parents, your grandparents, your work colleagues, your old friends, your whoever else, partners, not the most with all of this stuff, before you know it, your circle, you just end up in your own head. You end up so frustrated because you know what you want to do, but you can't. So if this is resonating with you, I'm going to be doing like a bit of sort of foundation bits here. You're in the right place. You are absolutely in the right place. So let's just have a little look. How many do we have? Okay, hi, I can see lots of you joining. Okay, this is loading. One thing with the energies and Schumann, if anyone doesn't follow this, I would highly, highly recommend having a look into Schumann resonance. Like, the Schumann resonance right now, energetically in this planet, is off the freaking charts. Like when people, like I've noticed it so much at the moment. Tech, people are just having a bit of a nightmare with tech. We blame that often on retrogrades, but there's so much more to it than that. There is, people are stumbling over their words. I've got so much that I want to say on this. Between the shifts that we're going through, I'll save that for another day, but what feels like brain fog, what feels like having these bursts of energy and then massively needing to retract back. Trust that you going on this journey, you doing the healing, you doing some inner excavating, you being around your like-minded tribe, like that frequency gets stronger. Parts of you get lighter. If you've been working with us, I can see a few of you are here, or you've been in this world, or maybe you've done some of your inner work, you will know that when you do that work, how would you describe it? 99% of my clients at the end, when I say, how do you feel? Say, oh, I just feel lighter. Like that's one of the things. Someone the other day said, I feel like I've been through an exorcism, but like in the best way. That was such a good compliment. A very strange one, but the best kind, because they'd release so much, such a common thing is you feel lighter. What happens when you feel lighter? You're more open. You're light. You are light. You are able to activate more of your authentic self. When we release the shedding, when we release the conditioning, when we release the identities of, I am a friend I used to hear her for years. She was a teacher. When anyone said at a networking event, so what do you do now? Well, I was a teacher. And she would have to start by saying an old identity because it had become such a key part of her that she didn't know who she was without it. And it felt credible. Like when we begin to let those things go, we are more just our raw, authentic selves. And this is where we're going. Okay, same, Black Human Family. Yes, I am ready. Right, let's really dive in. Okay, so I want you to just for a moment, let's place your left hand onto your heart, right hand down below. I want you to just roll your shoulders back and I want you to just begin to take some deep breaths. Nice big deep breath in through the nose. And a nice long exhale. If anything, you're all muted, no one can hear each other. If there's anything that I've just said that resonates with you, I want you on that exhale to just freaking release it. Energetically remember, the more that we let this go, the lighter we are. The more light we are, the more our energy is available. We're expanded. We are an open freaking vessel for your truth. Every exhale, just begin to release. This space, a few more deep breaths. If you've got your eyes closed, you can just tune in, you can listen. This space that we're in over these next 3 days, this is about beginning to release some of those cycles, beginning to recognize if you are hesitating, recognizing if you're shrinking, recognizing if you're holding yourself back. Notice how I'm using the word recognizing. Self-awareness is so key in this. I want you to take another big deep breath in and let's just anchor in to begin with an intention. Your intention for this session, your intention for the coming days. I want you to almost have this sense of like relief, just knowing that you're going to be, I'm holding your hand through this. And this truly is just the beginning. Yes, we're going to be moving through some activations and realizations, but this can be the beginning of, the word catalyst keeps coming to me, just this like absolute owning of all the things that you shy away from, all those beautiful concepts, ideas that you've had manifesting within your mind that you've kept quiet for so long, or those things that you've wanted to say to your friend, to your partner, the colours that you've wanted to wear, the things that you've wanted to celebrate, but heaven forbid, like just feel that lightness as, I promise if you show up for yourself in this, like the universe meets you where you are. Like this can happen. I see this day in, day out, people activating more of their authentic self. And you bet, you can open up your eyes as you just come back around, like you bet their income increases. Money begins to come in. New relationships, new friendships begin to forge. Their energy, they physically, I've seen this with so many of my clients, they like physically shed weight. It isn't that they're on this like diet or this like big exercise, they're lighter, and that's available to you. There is absolutely no difference between you and anyone else. And I wish I could bottle up my certainty, but like, I want you to like look into my eyes and just know that this is it. Like, it makes me want to cry. This is so available to you. This is literally why I'm here doing this, because it just is. And the more of us awake, the more that we have more authentic people walking this earth, the more that we have money in the hands of light workers, of decent people. Like, I can guarantee, if I was to say to you right now, an extra 100 grand is dropping into your account, what would you do with it? Yeah, there'll be some holidays, but I can guarantee, have this game if you want. This is a great game to play. What would you do? So many people are like, I'd do this for my dad. I would buy this piece of land. I would begin to volunteer at the local hospice and do Reiki treatments. I would give back. Like, so many of you would do that. Like, I know it would be a part of your impact and your ripple effect. So let now be the time that we begin to own this, and all of that old conditioning, we're going to begin to let go of, right? Can I just get a hell yes or an emoji, something, if this is like, yes, 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 yes. Okay, I do need to keep on track. Otherwise we could literally be, this is kind of why I need to do the retreat. Can you imagine the conversations, the circles around the fire pit, the healing that will happen? Oh my God, can you imagine us all together for like 4 nights, 5 days? Holy. Okay. So we're going to have a little look at the hidden cycles that keep us playing small as women. However you identify, I've had a look through. I would say everyone in here, whether you refer to yourself as a woman, but someone who identifies in their feminine. Let's just say that. So that it's not that you're not confident. This is what I wrote down before. It's not that you're not confident. It's that you've been conditioned to stay small. So this actually really doesn't have anything to do with your confidence, even though, of course, we often have that thing where it's like, I'm so confident, or I'm just not a confident person, or I don't feel confident. That you were born so confident. Ultimately, it's the conditioning or your experiences. It's something at some point that's gone on your confidence. You have an abundance of confidence, and confidence comes with that self-assurance, that self-certainty, that, and pardon my French, I'm probably gonna drop a few F-bombs if you're new into this world. There's a few lovely new names that have come in. Like, when you are just able to just be like, here the fuck I am, that is actually when all of the conditioning begins to shed away. So it isn't always about, and I teach this stuff, right? I teach how to be more confident. I literally taught in one of my 5 sessions today. It's been a full-on day, hence this. Unapologetic, did not, and thought, screw it, I'm not putting more dry shampoo in my hair because my hair will literally just do this by the end of the day. But I taught a confidence exercise for someone that's public speaking tomorrow. So yes, you can learn and enhance confidence, but I believe ultimately inside of you, there is your soul self, your higher self, that warrior woman version of you. She is so fucking confident. Like, it would blow your own mind. You would blow your own mind. If we were to just get her to step forward, if you were to be able to have an hour, a day, a week, a month, 6 months of exercising this part of you, what happens is, I see this as like almost like a lily. I don't know if this is the right flower, but where like something drops away and then something drops away, and then inside's like the gooey, beautiful nectar. Like inside is that like sticky, sweet pureness that is in every single one of us. When you look and you see someone who is doing what you want to do, or is confident in the way that you would love to be confident, that like really watch them. And I mean like real confidence. Check in with your gut. I see this all the time. Like, and you've probably heard me say this, but the loudest person in the room is very rarely the most confident person, truly. It's a bit like bullies. Most bullies are actually really hurt children or hurt people. So the most confident in the room just isn't always what people see. I would say always go with your gut, but have a think now. Who is someone that is like just unapologetically themselves? And then what is it about them? Is it that everything that they do is perfect? Or is it actually, they're actually a bit messy, but they accept it? Is it that they try, and if they fail, it's okay? Is it that they just fucking love big, and they don't mind, they're not always mind reading what other people might be thinking or not thinking? the likelihood is that's actually what true confidence is. Do you see the difference? It's when we release the conditioning and ultimately come back to your true self. So this is a concept over like the last 10 years of my body of work has shifted through qualification and then embodiment and then my own experiences and then being like, and then witnessing client shifts and then another transformation and there's more healing. And it's like, holy, this is not about learning to believe in yourself anymore. This isn't learning confidence strategies. Don't get me wrong. This is flipping good. Your power stances, your mirror therapy, looking in the air, absolutely. I will be teaching those till my last breath. But I need you to understand, if there's anything to take away from tonight, it's every part of you that you would ever desire is already available to you. She's within you. That part of you, this is where I call her the warrior woman. That warrior woman version of you, she's in you. So much of this is actually just letting go, is releasing, is shedding, is acknowledging and being like, okay, I feel that. That's it. It isn't about being more. Half of it, and I explained this to my husband, I was like, you're already enough. It's actually about caring less. You care too much about, and this whole conversation unraveled not that long ago. I was like, this just ripples effect into everything. Okay. Right. Again, drop us a message drop us a little comment if this is resonating with you. Siobhan, thank you. And love the jumper. Do you know, so I worked in a school this morning and I always sort of like to dress a little bit bright for a school, and I kind of think about the students that I'm working with, and I thought, God, this isn't very like my brand. And I was like, wait, what's my brand? I am my brand. What day is it? It's Wednesday. What do I want to wear? It's actually really comfy. I personally really like the print. I'm unapologetically wearing it. That's the filter. There you go. Done. End. That's the filter. If there's anything that we're going to be taking from tonight, it's basically that ping pong in your own mind of recognizing awareness. Do I go and get changed? Do I need more dry shampoo? Yeah, because if I'm going to be unapologetic, I should probably look a little bit more warrior woman-esque. I should probably have a bit of red lipstick on. And then it was like, wait, who am I doing that for? Am I doing that because I think I should? Or am I actually doing that because it would make me feel more empowered? There's a difference. So the next time you're going to do something, like this is it. This is your day one. Write this down. This is your day one, like homework, whatever you want to call it, assignment, universal assignment, is as we go through the next few days, like tomorrow, begin to notice if you're about to do a post on social media, are you filtering it through the eyes of every single human, the 8 billion people on this planet? Or are you speaking from your heart because it's your truth? And if you run a business, are you speaking to that like absolute dream person who you would just love to work with unapologetically? And even if it is a little bit messy, or it's not perfect, or it's not this, remember, we're moving into the intuitive age. People are seeing through the facades in the online space. People are, like, there's an example business-wise. Filter it through. Who am I doing this for? Why am I doing it? Is this me being unapologetically me? When you are out, let's say with friends or work colleagues, and everyone else is ordering something, what do you order? Do you order something that you want? If everyone else is drinking, someone said this to me the other day. Well, whenever I go out with her, she always wants a drink, so I just end up ordering the same as her. I was like, well, do you want a drink? I said, if you could choose a drink, what would you choose? I said, if you ordered first, what would you choose? And she went, probably just a tonic and a piece of lime. I was like, the next time you're out, I challenge you to just ordering a tonic and a piece of lime. Why? Not just because alcohol's not great for you, but because whilst you're taking every single sip, you're sipping regret. You're sipping, shrinking that part of you that's like, oh, I've just said yes to this, even though I don't really want to drink, and it actually gives me a really bad headache and I don't even like the taste. Like, that is just the one little example of how so easily we can. The other day, someone got me a coffee And I'll hold my hands up unapologetically. It's a bit of a habit I can't kick. I love a sweet coffee. And I started drinking it and I was like, oh, I've not got any sweetener or sugar in it. That's okay. I really like, if I'm going to enjoy a coffee, I want a nice sweet little coffee. I love it. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Do you mind if I just go and put a sugar in this? We're like, oh my God, of course you can. Sorry, I should have asked. Don't apologise. I could have said. We were both like, checkmate. The world didn't end. And I really enjoyed my coffee. Like, there's so many examples of this. One more example. I had a client voice memo me yesterday. She had one of those days. She's a flipping fantastic lawyer. She's in London. Beautiful, beautiful woman. And she took herself to this bench. The sun was shining and she sat there. And someone she knew who lives not far from her came by and almost like hovered over her for a little bit. She had some dinner and she had half an hour to herself. And it was like between making appointments, a life of a lawyer in London, like can we even begin to imagine, 2 young kids at home, etc., etc. And this person said to her, like, are you walking back? Shall we walk back together? And he was kind of hovering. And she said in that moment, every part of her conditioning went through of like, and I'm doing this because I saw this image of her sat on the bench and this person's like over her, like, shall we walk? And she honoured herself. She went, I'm probably going to sound a bit weird, but like this half an hour it's like my precious time. And she said, he sort of looked a bit like, well, what do you mean? So she explained and she was like, so I'll probably just walk behind, and he was like, oh, okay. And she said, it felt all the things. It felt like, was I rude? What will he think? What, like all the things, but also that deep sense of like, the world didn't end. She honoured herself. She got that charge time. Otherwise, it would have been half an hour walk. She's talking, small talk, and we were saying how we were just plugging into everyone else. She was charging up herself and unapologetically said no. I sent her like this voice memo, like, I fucking love this. Well done. So proud. So I want you to recognise over just tomorrow, just do this tomorrow and then obviously continue, but be so aware of when you would automatically override your natural, I'm going to call it soul self or warrior self. When do you instantly just go to put everyone else first or skipped doing something? Yeah. Okay. You care too much resonated hard. Okay, I've removed the word should from my speech. It holds judgment. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I'm loving reading these. You care too much resonate. Yes. This was something that on like a personal share, my husband was like, I just can't get anything right. I just can't get anything, when someone's having one of those times. I'm just pretty chill. So I'm like, I kind of pick my battles with the boys from like a conscious parenting point of view. And yeah, I just like an easy breezy life. And I find sometimes keeping things calm, everything just flows so much nicer. And he was really trying and then doing this and telling the boys not to do that. And I was like, that's okay. And ultimately it blew up a little bit. And that's what it actually came down to. I was like, you can, in a healthy way, just care a little bit less and just protect your own energy. Like, that's okay. And that's a massive lesson, unapologetically, I've had to learn, especially with being around my mum so much more. With the boys, I see the looks, and even like different people that are really close to me, I see them do this thing where they get like a flat mouth. Is this like the thing that people do when they want to say, I would not parent that way? And they kind of go, I get that. From like a couple of people, and I have to like anchor in. So easy to go, oh, what are you doing? And start like disciplining. That's just not how we would do it. So honor it, honor it. Okay. Right, coming into, I made some really good notes around the witch wound. So, okay, we're going to talk about the 4 typical hidden cycles that keep women playing small. So here are the 4. I'm going to summarize it. We're coming into this over the next couple of days, okay? I want you to write down any that kind of resonate with you. And then after I've shared the 4, I want you to comment here which one resonates with you the most. The good girl conditioning. That kind of like, be likable, don't rock the boat. This shows up with over-apologizing, people-pleasing, avoiding confrontation, filtering your words, almost like softening your truth. How I hear this, and this was a big one for me. When I say softening your truth, I had this big realization a few years ago. This was what I would do. I would often say things like, well, kind of. Well, what I sort of mean. Well, what I'm thinking is, so instead of saying what I want or what I need or what I'm going to do, it would be, well, what, and I still do this. I think it's part of my personality as well, because I am a very kind and caring person and very conscientious. There's a fine line. Is, well, what I'm thinking is, but what do you think? What are your thoughts? You tell me first. That would be the thing. Always wanting to hear, it's like you're looking at a menu. I always use the easiest one. What are you thinking? No, you tell me. No, you tell me first. And it's like you always have to get like waiting for permission. So that's like the good girl conditioning. This is majority through conditioning. Like it's there in the title. This can come through social conditioning. Religious conditioning is a big one I've worked with over the years. Religious trauma, religious conditioning, not always trauma. That's a sort of a separate thing, but often religious conditioning can come into it, to being the good girl. Being agreeable. I often find in society, it's like we have to be non-threatening. We have to be agreeable. We have to like just confined to the norm. We just have to be normal. Everyone wants the 3-bed house, the mortgage, the drive, the 2 kids, the car, and 1 at a push 2 holidays a year. And there is nothing wrong with that. Like if that's what we're striving for, 100%. But it's like this conditioning. And if we're not on the preconceived good girl timeline of when we should be engaged, when we should have children, when we should be adopting a puppy, when we should be able to afford the next car, it's like, there's a reason why we freak out, and it's the freaking conditioning. So there's the good girl one. The witch wound. So this is one I've been really sort of deep diving in over the last year, and I'm so excited to share this. So the witch wound very much shows up that if I'm too much, I'll be judged, I'll be scorned, I'll be cast out, or I'll be punished. And this quite literally goes right back. And I personally believe that a lot of this is, and you've no doubt heard me talk about this, but just in case this is new, we can carry up to 7 generations of trauma within the cells of our DNA. So I believe that this is why, like when we think about men that sit around a boardroom, that have a meeting, can quite literally, and I'm being quite painting a big picture here, but let's just say that typical old school thing, men would say whatever they want, they go laugh, and then they all go for a drink after, mull about it, forget what's ever been said, done. No one's worrying about what the other person's saying. No one's worrying about, oh my God, did you hear what George said? And if they do, then it's just kind of like, they'll have it out. I'll speak to him about that in the next meeting. And this masculine energy is like, that's like the old school way. Does not work like that as much anymore, but that's that typical male conditioning. Women, when we go right back centuries ago, but I'm saying centuries ago, let's say the average person lives to 70, 80. That's only 3 generations ago, 4 generations ago. Women, I'm going back to the red tent days. So the red tents, this was one of the reasons why I started doing my women's circle. The traditional thing around red tents is women, when it was their bleed, when it was their time of the month, within villages would so often be in sync. You've probably heard this, you've probably joked to, I always joke about this to my mate, if we ever go away for a night and they're like, oh, I've just got my period, I'm like, great, give me 24 hours and we'll be in sync. And it just, there's an energetic tie between women that happens. Like, let me know, just put yes if you've ever heard this or if you've done this before. It happens so subconsciously, doesn't it? It's energetic. And the red tent would be where women would come. And whilst they were, let's say, in their bleed, I'm not 100% sure whether they would meet at that time or if it was in a different luteal phase, but they would meet and they would meditate, they would channel, they would, what some would say, cast spells. What they were actually doing is healing. What they were actually doing is strengthening their truth, because centuries ago, women, like, we birth ideas. We have the ability to birth life. We have this, like, without women, none of this would even exist. And we got powerful. We got powerful. Men, what's going on? What's going on? How do we know what's doing that? How are they able to communicate with each other just by one look of the eye? How do they know that that person is... And they couldn't handle it. They didn't want it. However you want to see that. And over time, and there's a great... what's it called? There's a documentary around it. I can't remember the name of it now. But what happened is, slowly but surely, women were being called out for being witches. Women that followed their intuition, that would have a knowing that something was happening, that someone was having an affair, that someone was poorly, and how to heal that illness. And over time, one person got called out, got cast out for it. Another woman began to stand up. That same thing. It was like a domino effect. And in the end, it happened quite quickly. In the end, by that first one woman and then the next one trying to stand up, 4 or 5 women in, all getting scorned, all getting called out, taken away from their families, being told that they're dirt, being told that they're sluts, being told that they're this. That 6th woman that wants to stand up all of a sudden goes, oh shit, I don't know them. I want you to just think about how it feels sometimes to show up as a woman around women. So often people have this like guard up. We cry. What happens? I'm sorry. We have gifts and we utilize our intuition. Oh, I'm just woo-woo. Oh, I'll keep that quiet. Why? Because no one understands it. Why? Because deep, deep, deep down, at some point, women were told, taught, and taunt for being the freaking powerful, powerful beings that we are. And slowly but surely, it got stripped back. And this is where that element of the witch wound comes in. And that doesn't have to mean that you had a witch 5 generations ago. This, societal-wise, it just turned women almost against women. It made us great housewives. It made us great mothers. It made us great at conforming. And imagine for a moment, because this actually happened, imagine seeing a woman being dragged through town, and if you spoke out, if you were outspoken, in Macclesfield, if you ever want to come, let me know and we could totally do this as a trip. In the Macclesfield Museum, I think it's the Silk Museum, there's a torture thing still. I think we could go there and clear and cleanse and do like a healing there. And it's this thing that they would put, and it had this like spike or something. I remember seeing it as a child when we were first taught this in primary school, and then seeing it not all that long ago. And women would get this thing put on to stop them from speaking. Why? Because what they were saying people didn't like. Why? Because it was the fucking truth. Someone was dragged through Macclesfield town, like my town centre, by a chain in front of villagers, in front of children, and then burnt, dismembered, drowned. There's so much into this, and as you can tell, this is something that's like, I think it's come through in part of my healing, like ancestral healing over the last year, where it's really made me realise when we worry about being called out online, why? Because it's like no wonder, because it just triggers so much fear. And this is why I'm so big. There's something coming up that I'm going to be, I'll share more with it. There's the retreat, and then there's something else that I feel that the more of us that come together, that we have this like warrior, like sisterhood tribe, that when we do stretch the comfort zone, when we do put the business out there, when we do start speaking up in the freaking bedroom and actually saying what you like, what you don't like, what hurts, what feels good, what you want more of, what you want less of. Imagine having a safe place where you can talk at the depth of that. Imagine having a place where you can talk openly about your finances. Having a fucking great month, and I'm so excited. Do you know I'm struggling a little bit this month? Can you imagine? Like, this is what I've been like dreaming of, that as women, the more that we break those chains, the more that we do this inner healing, the more we are reclaiming. We're reclaiming our true selves. Okay, so how this shows up. Okay, time-wise, we're probably going to run over 10 minutes, so we'll keep it at 55 minutes. Angel number. How this shows up: the witch wound, shock, fear of being fully seen, fear of being seen as your authentic self, sharing your truth, and standing in your power. I always get that image of the thing over. Whenever I sometimes go to speak my truth, and I'm like, it's like a physical... Can anyone else resonate with this? Because I know lots of you in here also are great at speaking your truth. Really, really great in all areas of your life. Like, you're doing the work, you've done the work, or maybe you've just, that's your conditioning. You've been brought up with a powerhouse, whoever, and it's like you stand up for yourself and you always speak your truth, and it comes quite natural. We're celebrating that. For me personally, I've had to work, this is why I'm so passionate about it. It's almost like this energetic, invisible, physical, like a steel wall, and what I would say the equivalent of that thing on my tongue. Like, you could put £1 million down on the table, and it's like, and honestly, there was years, decades of my life where physically couldn't say. On reflection and doing some of this work over the last year, which it's not for the faint-hearted always, but I will say it's so powerful that it's freeing and exhilarating, and it's actually not as scary as I think a lot of people think. But I found some of that sexual trauma from when I was younger, from in my late teens, early 20s, where I wanted to say no and I wasn't able to. So that's a personal share there. And I find this comes up quite a lot with clients, whether that's childhood, whether that's adolescence, teens, 20s. That's another thing. And quite often, if it's a man, then even when you are in a safe relationship, you want to speak your truth, but you've not been able to. So your brain goes, not safe, or it's not available. So that is also something I find can come up. Slight little thing. Censorship. You water yourself down. You water down your message. You water down what you're actually truly here for. Because I can guarantee right now, if we were to sit together long enough, I could, like, I see this in so many people. Like, well, I think I want this. Or as soon as I say, wave a magic wand, what would you do? Oh, God, no. Well, what I think I would, and it's like this, am I safe to say this? Am I safe to claim this? Who am I? Right? Yes, you are. And playing small to avoid criticism. We fear criticism and disappointment so much as women. So historically, I've just explained more about the historic side, and it has left that DNA imprint. Or even if the DNA imprint feels a bit too woo or a bit too deep in the science for you, just see this as that consciousness that you no doubt saw growing up. Blah, blah, next door said that. You know, like, if you ever knew a little curtain twitcher and someone had knit a natter and they talk about someone else, and like, women can just be so bitchy. Like, let's be the people that break that chain as well. Like, in our society, let's be that. I am vouching for that. I shrivel when I hear people bitching and gossiping. And don't get me wrong, I actually joked and I said we should get this put onto a t-shirt. Is it really being bitchy if it's my intuition? It was something like that. And I was on a call with a client and they were like, oh my God, because they said, God, I feel so bad, I'm being so bitchy. And I was like, well, is it really being bitchy if it's your intuition? And we were like, We need that on a t-shirt. Comment t-shirt if you would buy that t-shirt. I've got so many slogans for t-shirts. I think the key thing that we're going to be looking at over the coming days, and then obviously beyond, is this is freedom. We see so much around women's rights, activism, our freedom of speech, our freedom, and so much of that, yes, politics-wise, yes. I'm talking about like you, yourself, and I. Start with that. If each one of us committed to doing 1% of that, world watch out. This isn't a like Who Won the World girls kind of vibe. This is money in the right hands. This is truth. This is your heart being cracked wide open, your portal being open creatively, your intuitive ability that so many people go, I just don't really know what my intuition says. Like, this is so available. It will be your guides. Everything will be like, hello, I'm here, I can help you. But we just go bing, 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 and keep ourselves as we are. Keep ourselves playing small. Who am I? Who am I to be intuitive? Who am I to be able to have a sixth sense? Who am I to be able to, right? Okay. And the next one, the fear of outshining. This is another one that I find is such a common one. I'm actually just going to share these three. If I succeed, will other people feel uncomfortable? This was another one. I'm like 3. I was like tick, tick, tick of all of these. And it just kind of, yeah. So let me know which one is feeling the most. The fear of outshining. If I succeed, others will feel uncomfortable. This shows up as downplaying achievements. If you read my email yesterday, again, like I said, on the build up to this, all I do is just reflect and just open up. And this is just, we just let it come through. Struggle to take up space. Feel guilty for success. Guilt, I can't resonate with so much, but a need to give it to others. That's how, so is there an element of guilt there? Maybe. Ooh, I've not looked at that like that before. But for me, one of my big goals was always like, okay, when I've got enough money, I'll be able to do that for my dad. When I've got enough money, I'll be able to do that because my dad wasn't able to afford all of that stuff. So I'll pay for his therapy and pay for this. Okay. And that took me back down to like a decent baseline. So yeah, probably. There was probably, whether it never manifested as the feeling of guilt, but subconsciously there was probably a bit of guilt there. Why it happens. What have I written here? Just too successful, too wealthy, too bold. Okay. So my belief around this is that we have a belief that if we're, here we go, here's what's my thought. If we're too successful, too wealthy, or too bold, it shrinks other people down. It will make other people feel small. I used to struggle with this about my brother. He's not a massive academic, but he's incredibly intelligent. We know the kind, right? We know the kind. And I really struggled that if I got a lead part or if I got celebrated at home and he'd come home and he just tried really hard at school, I came home and I won the trophy at sports day. And it was never because it was like, I'm so competitive. I just ran really fast. That was it. I just enjoyed it. That was it. That was like a little gift. I loved the performing side. And it just so happens that a lot of my gifts, a lot of the things I personally enjoy and what light me up tend to be the things that a lot of society really celebrates. Oh, was she the lead of that play? Oh, didn't she come first in that race? Whereas my brother was epic at loads of other things. But that always didn't lead to an award or a lead part. Do you know what I mean? So I found myself shrinking it down. And quite often I'd come home and wouldn't say it. And I shared this in the email. Like, if you've worked with me recently, like, please know after this, I'm going to be like, can I have a testimonial, please? Because, like, it's been almost a year properly since I have followed my normal process of being like, do you mind filling this in? Can you please share it on my Google? Like, we just it was such a key part of the celebration. I don't know where that got lost, but when I reflected, I heard all the bullshit. My own bullshit of, I've just been too busy, I didn't want to mither them, I didn't want to... And I was like, why? Why was I too busy? Well, because the boys are at school now and I've not got as many out. Why have I not prioritised it? Because the work I'm doing now is different. It's the same, but different. I'm still qualified in all the things, but we just call upon all the things, and therefore the transformations are like pretty unique and powerful, and we end up having these conversations of like, how do we even describe this? Like, what just happened? And I'm like, oh, well, what if? And all of those things, like, I've almost like gone to that kind of next level, let's say, in my career and my gifts, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, let's play that down a little bit. Safe within my office walls, safe within certain spaces. Is it safe in the online space? So I'm constantly, and I'm vulnerably, unapologetically sharing, because I think it's so powerful to hear that you don't all of a sudden just be like, da-da, and you just do this thing, and then it's like, you never think about it ever again. Like, there will always be, and I think the more that we can land on this, I do sometimes have clients that say like, I thought I'd done the work. I thought this was it for me. Yes, keep breaking through to that next level, because that's your ultimate freedom. If we become stagnant and think we're done, like it's the old Tony Robbins saying, isn't it? You've no doubt heard me say it. If we're not growing, we're dying. And I believe that to be, if we're not healing, we're stagnating. We're just going to stay the same. So let this life be a blossoming, ever-evolving roller coaster of universal assignments. This is what I said to a client earlier. I was like, okay, got a little universal assignment here, bit of a test going on. Let's deal with it, because I can guarantee at the other side of this, you're going to be so fucking fierce. There's going to be another thing that comes through. There's going to be another part of you that unlocks, and then we get excited about it. It's like, oh my God, okay, I'm going to go deal with it. There's actually 2 clients who have kind of gone through something today or in the last couple of days, where one has had something pretty like boof happen, and a year ago would have absolutely spiraled. And she messaged me saying, oh my gosh, instead of 24 hours, instead of it taking 24 hours to like bring myself around, it's just taken me 12. Whereas before it would have just been spiral, spiral, spiral. So 24 hours was massive. We used to celebrate 24 hours. Now it's 12 hours. And it's like, and she's seeing this like, and that's because she's committing to herself. She's committing to the bigger picture. She's unapologetically continuing on despite what's happened. Here for all this. So, which one do you resonate with the most? Or are you a across the board like myself? The good girl conditioning. Be likeable, don't rock the boat. The witch wound, if I'm too much, I'll be judged, I'll be outcast or punished. That's often, even when we say that, we know we're not going to be punished, but scorned, cast out, not relatable. Or the fear of outshining. If I succeed, others will feel uncomfortable. Which one resonates with you the most? Now, this is the last thing that I'm going to recommend that you do in your own time. So we are going to finish with this. That is, I want you, this is what I've called like, I am unapologetic for. I want you to write a list of all the things that you are going to be becoming unapologetic about. I'm unapologetic for my success. If writing I am unapologetic every single time gives you cramp, right? I am being. I am. And I want you to like own the things, because so often the things that we say in this part is like, I am kind, I am in integrity, I am blah, 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 blah. And it's like our values and the things that are really good and that we're proud of. I also want you to include the things that feel a bit messy. Like, I am like, what are you? Who are you? And really try to include some real raw truths in here about yourself, because the more that you can, when I say the words accept, I don't mean we're accepting and this is just who I am. This is me for life. Like, I go through periods where my timekeeping is like on point. I also go through random times where my timekeeping, it drives me insane. I drive myself insane because I can just be by the minute. And yeah, so unapologetically, I have to really try hard to work with time. I have my own concepts on this. So unapologetically now, I will start, instead of always being like, I'm so sorry, I think I'm going to be 5 minutes late. I'm so sorry, I'm going to be 5 minutes late. I'm so sorry, I'm falling behind. Now I'm like, I love you. I've tried really, really hard, but I'm just please can I have an extra 15 minutes? And that can just be a part of you. And I actually find the more that we accept that part that we often shun or feel guilty for or we shy away from, because heaven forbid if my clients think I'm not great time-wise, like, let's be honest, I think the odd time it might be like a minute or something like that. It's more the internal thing about time, which I struggle with myself. So what we want to be doing is the more that we accept that's just who we are right now, the more that you can begin to, okay, well, we've got nothing to hide. We've got nothing to be apologetic for. So therefore, we have this element of freedom within us to begin to grow and nurture ourselves and actually get good at those things. Because if we do it from a place of guilt, blame or shame, we just don't. We're forever identifying ourselves as that terrible person that's always late. Or actually, it's not the truth. Every now and again, like one of the boys is poorly. So getting them to school has been like on the minute. To be fair, I've had 5 sessions today and they've all been completely, perfectly on time. But that's okay. You go through chapters and eras in your life. So I've written some examples down. I'm unapologetic for my success. I'm unapologetic for my ambition. Drop the word ambition below if this resonates, because it's such a key thing. I am unapologetic for wanting more. I'm unapologetic for saying no without explaining myself. Right? Which ones are these you resonating with? I'm unapologetic for trusting my intuition. I once didn't go to a big event with Dr. DiMartini. I was due to go to this big event in London. I was having dinner. I was invited as a VIP and I was due to have dinner with this beautiful big guest list. And if you're a fan of The Secret, he's one of the main guys from The Secret. And my gut, it was like this download just said to me, it's like, you don't go until tomorrow. And I was like, sorry? This was even before I had the boys. So this is 5-6 years ago. And I was like, I can't. This is a gift. This was the universe putting him in. And I tuned in. And when I thought about going, my entire thing was just like, no. So I trusted it. And I unapologetic. I probably did be like, I'm so sorry. Nowadays, I'd be like, I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to be seeing you until tomorrow. In that kind of place, I get it. Sometimes we do have to say sorry. We're not just going to be going around being like, fuck you all. I'm not apologizing anymore. There are definite times when we need to say sorry. I hit a kid with a plate of chips the other day in his head. You bet I apologized my ass off. He leant forward to get the chips. I thought I was being a good parent at a party, and I freaking karate chopped him with this big china bowl of chips into his forehead, and he started crying. Is that like not the worst thing? And I didn't know all the parents. It wasn't the school one, it was a different one. And luckily they all were like, oh, I'm not going to mess with you. And they were like joking about it. And we apologize in those situations. But what we're going to stop doing is apologizing for ourselves. We're going to stop apologizing for being us. Step first is awareness. So what I would urge you to do, this is completely up to you now, well done for sticking because this has been an hour, is either journal on this and write it down and keep it to yourself. Or you want to brave it, journal, write it down, take a picture, pop it into the Facebook group. Remember, it's completely private. Everything within these groups stays. That's like my rule. Everyone knows this within the groups. Or type it out in there, whichever one feels good for you. Because we're done shrinking. Who are you? What are you? Let's own it all. Because the more we can do this, you will see you're not on your own. And that sister wound, that witch wound, that good girl, that people pleaser, we're going to start to melt and dissolve with love, with compassion. Let's go. I cannot wait to see you tomorrow. It's tomorrow daytime. Tomorrow day is going to be on Zoom because, let's be honest, I don't think it's worked out doing it as a live. Tomorrow is at 12 o'clock, so I'm going to post a Zoom and I will email the Zoom link out. I did think about doing it today and I was like, no, I don't want to send another email out changing it. Meh. Should have listened to my intuition. Okay, I love you all. I hope you have enjoyed this. Thank you for joining us and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care.